Welcome back. You've made it to video number 2. I'm Chris with our Go Solar program, and on this video we will get a better understanding of your current electrical bill. Also, I will share with you some of the main benefits of having your electricity coming from the sun, and you better stick around until the end of this video because I will be sharing some simple tips on how to save some money on your bill. Let's start by taking a look at the first page of your electrical bill. Here you would find what you pay on a monthly basis. This is a no-brainer. On the right side you would find the graph bar. It describes your monthly electricity use in kilowatt hours. On the left side of your graph, you will find the kilowatt hours consumed. Down on the bottom, you will find the last 2 historical years of usage. They're broken down on a monthly basis. On this bill, it shows historical uses from the last 2 years, 2014 and 2015. This graph comes in handy when you're wanting to compare how much electricity have you used in the past versus a current month, so you can generate questions and find answers by looking at the bar on your bill. For example, on the month of January, there is a big discrepancy on usage between 2014 and 2015. If this were to be my bill, I would ask myself, why did I use more energy in January 2015 than the previous year? And a possible answer could be we had a longer winter with lots of snow in 2015. Some other good question you can ask yourself if you see a discrepancy in any other given month would be, did I go on vacation? Is the insulation in my home sufficient? Is there anything wrong with my furnace or heating system? Is it time to replace the windows? If you have a Potomac Edison bill, expect to see on their bar graph 1 year of historical usage only. On the bottom of the graph, it will show your monthly usage. Now, if you're wondering what those letters are on the bars, they represent if your monthly meter reading was done by a Potomac Edison employee, if it was estimated, if it was read by you over the phone, or if it was prorated. Too often I get asked, Chris, why do you need to see my bill? Here is the answer. Your total yearly monthly usage, in this case a bit over 18,000 kilowatt hours, is the amount of energy I'm looking to supplement. Therefore, if your home allows, that's the system capacity I'm looking to build a solar system for. Moving to page number 2 on your bill, you will find the type of billing you have agreed for. In this case, it is standard billing. Also, it will show you how much electricity is being consumed on the billing month. In this case, 551 kilowatt hours have been consumed. You can see that this number is used for your provider to base most of their distribution and delivery charges, except for the right to be connected to the grid, which appears under consumer charge. Most Pepco clients pay $7.39 to be connected to the grid. Next, I want to ask you a question. Do you know that your bill is tiered? What does that mean? It simply means that the more electricity you use, the more you will pay, and the less electricity you use, the less you will pay for it. By the way, these numbers were taken from my own Pepco bill. If you look on December, I only used 551 kilowatt hours and it cost me 15 cents per watt. On September, I used 1,194 kilowatt hours and it cost me a bit over 16 cents. But on July, I used 1,396 kilowatts and it cost me almost 30 cents per watt. You can see the increase on the cost as I'm using more electricity. Here is where solar has a huge advantage over your current utility provider. Why do I say that? Your solar bill is not tiered, so it doesn't matter how much energy you are using. You will always pay the same rate per kilowatt hour, and that, my friend, is a real deal. Let's talk for a second about how much control you have with your current utility bill. This point represents your current electricity price. The bottom portion of the graph represents 20 years of service. You can count on your electrical bill increasing your rate at least 6% year over year. That's a historical trend we have seen for the last 20 years. By the time I take your today's price down to the rate we charge you with our solar program, it will take you over 13 years to reach the rate you are currently paying. This is the first way we add control to your bill, and it's a huge win for you. Also, this gap represents the amount of savings at the beginning of the program. Since your solar bill is limited or capped at 2.9%, your savings will increase over time. This is like having a built-in savings program on your home. Based on your current model on how electricity is distributed, take a look at what is expected for you not only to pay on a monthly basis, but also to maintain over time. Mainly you pay 3 items: distribution, taxes, and transmission. All these items are broken down into smaller charges you already pay on a monthly basis. Having solar will reduce the items found on your typical bill to only one: your solar production. Solar is simple, isn't it? Finally, let's cover some ways we can have you save some money on your bill. The first question you should ask yourself is, how do I know if I'm paying too much money for electricity? Here comes a tip. With Pepco, if your kilowatt hour price is over 14 cents, definitely there are some savings opportunities. You take the dollar amount paid over the kilowatt hours used on the month. That should give you your price per watts on cents. This applies to BGE clients as well. And if you're a Potomac Edison client, anything over 12 cents would be worth taking a look at it as well. Let's say you do the math and you are paying way over 14 cents per kilowatt. Your first step would be to take a look at the third page of your bill. Look at the supply charges and compare it with any potential third-party supplier that you might have selected. On this example, we have Constellation as the third-party supplier. Their base rate is 9.04 cents per kilowatt hour. If you compare it to the price to Pepco standard offer service, which is at 9.24 cents, Constellation is slightly cheaper. If Constellation would have been more expensive, then you know it's time to give them a call to renegotiate your base price, or simply change suppliers, or go back to Pepco. Using a third-party supplier is usually a good deal if you're willing to keep an eye on the offer. Lastly, let me show you how to save about $8 per month by not falling into a marketing trap done by your electrical provider. Have you received a letter that says you are using more energy than anybody else in the community? Then, this letter is followed by a series of letters in which they suggest to go into an on and off program. I have seen hundreds and hundreds of bills with this type of program in which you volunteer to be off at peak hours where consumption in the community is high. If you take a look at the savings which are shown down here, you are saving about 2 kilowatt hours, which will translate to not even 50 cents worth of saving on your bill. You might ask, what's the problem with this? For you to go into this program, your electrical provider will double your charge to be connected to the grid from $7.39 to $15.86. Bottom line, it's not worth it paying $8 more to save 50 cents on a monthly basis, is it? My suggestion here is to simply go back to standard billing. This is the end of video number 2. I hope you take action on some of these saving tips I have suggested. Further, if you want me to take a look at your bill and review it for you, go ahead and send me a copy of it. By now you should have all my contact information. I bet you have wondered what solar program is right for you. Should I buy solar panels or should I do a PPA program? Then you don't want to miss video number 3 where I will cover the pros and cons of both programs.